And then you read the name of the bacteria and you do a search on it, and it's one that causes sterilization in all mammal species. It's one that causes spontaneous abortion in all mammal species. And then there they are in the paper saying, oh, we're spraying Oklahoma City and all surrounding, towns this summer with this spray. And it's Subtilis globogy. And you go look up in Subtilis anthralis, I forget the other name of the bacteria. But see, that no one will talk about hundreds of mainstream articles spraying us. It's all, I heard a doctor who knows a scientist who talked to somebody who said a reptoid did it. And, my whole issue is I'm covering what I can prove. Yeah, I mean, we got the White House science chief saying they're putting binary systems in your water to sterilize you, and nobody wants to talk about that because it's official. It's official. All right, we're going back to your calls, and I'm getting to Chris Matthews attacking us in the White House, sending their surrogates after me, and a bunch of other news. But the Federal Reserve plunging in the polls, people figuring out who the real enemy is, that's coming up. But I want to talk to a bunch of callers here in a moment. But Paul Hartman, I don't watch a lot of TV, but I did years ago catch a little bit of a show about the pimp game. And when I saw it, and then I researched it more, that's how the elite treat the general public. And it is the Stockholm Syndrome, or similar to it, where they love their abusers. They give up, think they're powerless, and are then like children, or like a dog you beat. It just loves you more. It just grovels more. And they've taken our fighting spirit as Americans and broke our back and made us capitulate like a whore. And you were in there saying you're trying to find the clip online because we want to play it, of what Pimps Up, Hoes Down was the name of the show on HBO. But you were telling the story, Paul Hartman, out during the break with great precision. Repeat that story.
Well, it's just a part, and I don't know if it's the documentary Pimps Up, Hoes Down. They kind of showcase all these famous pimps throughout the U.S., and I don't know if it's Pimpin' Ken or Don Magic One. They're kind of big pimps in the whole hip-hop world, and one of them they're in the car and they're telling a story about how one of his workers, one of his hoes, had gotten beat up, shot, stabbed, the whole nine, and he goes to the hospital and she's in the recovery room and whatnot, and the worker, I hate to say the word hoe, but the whore lady was saying, oh, baby, I'm going to get better. I'm going to get up on them streets. I'm going to make that money for you. I'll be better. Don't worry about it. I'll be out there. I got you. I love you, baby. I'm going to make this money for you. And then the pimp says that he looks at the female's mother and she just starts tearing up and she's saying, what did you do to my baby? What have you done? And it was kind of, I don't really know what happens after that, but it was just crazy to see how this woman just obviously was brainwashed. Under mind control. But yeah. See, it's doublethink, or what they call Crime Stop in Orwell, because Orwell had worked with the Soviets, then with British intelligence. Well, British intelligence, then the Soviets, then found out it was all run from the top by British intel, and that's what 1984 is about. Fake wars with East Asia, with Russia, with Airstrip 1 in the U.S., really is a war against the people. And he figures out the government staged in the terror attacks, all of it. He worked with OSS in the highest levels of propaganda. And then it's clear they killed him. 1 year after that book came out, he died mysteriously. He even went and hid out on an island in Scotland when he was writing it. He ran away from him. Eric Blair was his real name. But he talks about pimping the hose, basically, the breaking of the spirit. And, the pimps will take 99% of the money. These women will have nothing. And the worse they treat them, the more they love it. And it's the Stockholm Syndrome. And Barack Obama is our American pimp. He is literally pimping us, lying, just like Bush, but even worse. I mean, it's sick. Man, there's also a portion of this particular documentary I'm talking about where they're talking to the pimps and they're like, well, how much do you break off to your hoes and this and that? And the person asking the question is like, you give them 5%, 10%, and all of them are like, I give them nothing. They don't want nothing. I'll give them some chicken. They'll be happy they get them some chicken. I'll give them something to eat and a place to stay. But no, I take everything. I want everything. They don't get no 10%. That's my money.
Well, growing up in high school, I wasn't in the whole cool guy, not cool guy thing. I was kind of on my own way and didn't understand how everything worked, but I was popular because I didn't care about being popular. And then later, as I grew up and realized how psychology worked, it's like the bad guy who drives the fast car and wears the leather jacket and is mean to his girlfriend is the guy that just has women just falling down over themselves. And I wasn't mean to my girlfriends, but I was very popular because I just wouldn't put up with any crap. Well, it's even worse. If you treat them even worse, they love it. They love it. The public loves giving their kids cancer viruses. They love drinking sodium fluoride. They love having everything. They love cops now. Have you heard in Chicago, they're just going to shoot people at checkpoints?
Yeah, I'll pull that up for you. But
yeah, CBS. I mean, that is insane.
Yeah, but
that is insane.
When I first, but
I mean, is that not pimping the hose? I mean, that's saying I'm going to even take your life. They're like, thank you, officer. Good.
That's pimping the hose squared right there. But that was the thing.
Pimping the hose squared. We are now blinging some new nomenclature.
But, when I first met you about 3 years ago, I was working on your Sunday show. It just kind of clicked for me about a month or two ago. Remember, we were back there, and I was, the whole New World Order and how they treat the flock. And I was like, man, I've heard this somewhere before. It's the pimp game. You can relate. It's the perfect parallel. It's the pimp game.
Pimp game.
It's what it's all about. I ain't no hoe, though, so...
Me neither. Let's say it together. To the government. I ain't no hoe. I ain't no hoe. I ain't no hoe. I ain't no hoe. I ain't no bitch.
I ain't no hoe.